It's still freaky cold outside. There's still too much snow on the ground, but it's the start of another month. So join me with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand while we take a look at this month's Hoya Updates, Part 1. And before things get underway, I'm happy to take this opportunity to send out a special thanks to Maggie Bar77, who sent me a super thanks. Your contributions to my channel are greatly appreciated and go a long way in helping keep me in Hoya and Dischidia, other plants, technology, and infrastructure, and all the myriad things that go into producing these videos. So thank you very much for your support. And also, before we get underway, I do have something in bloom this week. And boy, oh boy, is it a nice one. It is my Hoya carnosa, Wilbur Graves. And there are 3 very nice peduncles of buds. Let's see if I can get one of these turned. Very, very pretty. He's looking a little thirsty. It's been tough in the plant room. I finally got the humidifier up and running, but it's still, even with the humidifier cranking, it's still only about 35% humidity. So, yeah, not great. But this one's done really, really well for me. I had never really sought out Wilbur Graves because it's a carnosa and they grow really well for me, but there's only one that really blooms. That's my Hoya crincolate you saw last week. And I'll put a link to that video up here. So they've not really done well in terms of blooming. And this one was the hot plant for a while. It was the one everybody wanted. It was commanding huge dollars, and I just wasn't going to do that. So I waited and I just sat around and it wasn't even on my wish list. But a seller sent me a nice cutting as a thank you gift, and it has grown like crazy. And it blooms quite regularly. And he's looking a little thirsty. And I mean, there is water. There is moisture in this. He's got a decent little root system. There is moisture in there. So I think I just maybe need to stay on top of that a little bit more efficiently. But yeah, beautiful markings on the leaves. And I'll put some close-ups of those. And beautiful blossoms. And I will, of course, put some of those over here. But this is done really, really well. There's not as much splash in the upper leaves, the ones that have grown more recently. There's all kinds of theories about that, and people say, oh, bright light, less light, okay. I think it varies from species to species. And yeah, this one has been under super bright light, and we don't see any extra splash. So, I don't think that theory necessarily holds up. But the blooms are really gorgeous, and to have, 3 nice full peduncles is a treat, especially this time of year. Let's see if they... The first thing that came to my mind was it smells like a carnation. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. It smells kind of like a carnation. So, yeah, happy about this one. This is Hoya carnosa, Wilbur Graves, and yeah, we got blooms. And the first one up has been here for 3 months, and this is my Hoya hongleniae. Now, Hoya hongleniae is native to Vietnam. It was collected in 2021 in Quang Nguyen province on Phu Quoc Island, and it was first published in 2023 in Phytotaxa by Leonid Vladimirovich Averyanov, Ba Vuan Thuong, Quoc Bao Nguyen, and Van Can Nguyen. And it was named after Mrs. Nguyen T. Hong Len. Hong Len, see? That's how that works. And she found it and shared it with those researchers. It's gorgeous. Let's see if I can look at those leaves. They're very, very pretty. This is the one that's being contrary over here. Very, very nice. There's a peduncle that has formed on it, which is part of the reason I ordered this plant. And it has put out this new vine down here. And I should have a picture of what it looked like when it arrived, and I'm going to drop that in over here. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this. It looks like the initial vine came with this, if I remember this vine here. This tip has died back, but you expect that when you transplant, and you know, it was shipped in when, November? So yeah, I got it in November. So it's put out new growth. It branched right here. That's the old vine. This is all new growth. And this is all new growth. And there's tiny little leaflets down on there. Probably won't be able to see them. I'll try and remember to take close-ups. But yeah, for just 3 months, that's a whole lot of growth. It currently lives with a makeshift trellis. There we go. Back here on that shelf. So it's getting fairly decent light. There's a little bit of moisture in the pot, and it's growing in a mixture of my generic pon and some pumice, some pure pumice. So it seems happy with that setup. It's in the relative humidity of, what I said, 35%, and the temperatures in here range from, say, 65, 68 at night to 74, 75 during the day. So yeah, it's done really, really well. I'm happy about that. Excited for blossoms when they come, but a bunch of new growth will take that, especially those beautiful leaves. And that's just a really pretty leaf. Try not to bang it into the light, but that's a pretty leaf. This one came from North Austin Plant Company, and you can find them on Palm Street. And this is Hoya hongleniae. And now here for a year is my Hoya rigidifolia. Now rigidifolia is native to Indonesia, to the island of Sumatra, actually western Sumatra and the Mentawai Islands. And it was collected at a height of 100 meters in 2016 and published in 2019 in the European Journal of Taxonomy by Sri Rahayu and Michaela Roda. And I loved these leaves with that kind of like outer margin paralleling the edge of the leaf. The first time I saw them on Miro's channel. And I did I need to get me one of those. So I did. It grew very well, but it was in a spot where I didn't see it every day. And I must have missed it during a couple of waterings. It was like growing on the back wall, cascading, and there must have been something in front of it. And when I found it, it was in a sad state. It was in a very sad state. It was just not good at all. So I took some cuttings from it, but they didn't do well. So I ordered another one. And it has done in 1 year, I think, well, I should have a picture of what it looked like. I'm trying to be good about that. If not just for myself, but for you as well. So this is new growth, and these 3 vines, I'm pretty sure are new growth. And I had plans to let this one trail, but as I look at those leaves, I think up on a trellis with those long leaves kind of hanging down, I think that's the way to go. So I think I may do a flat trellis to get kind of a nice look like that going on, and just let it work that way. It's currently living back over here on the shelf as well, but I think it could use a little bit less light. Because that leaf, the color of that leaf for me, for my eye, is absolutely beautiful. But these other leaves look a little pale. So I think we're going to move him probably somewhere over here and give him a little bit less light. But yeah, that's the plan at present. I think that's going to be a much nicer looking plant. It's not particularly easy. There's a little bit of splash on the leaves, which is kind of cool. And there's a little bit of splash on all of them. So they're very pretty. I love that vein that parallels the outside edge of each leaf. The leaves are measuring from petiole to tip about 4 inches or 10 centimeters. And from side to side, they're measuring just under an inch or about 2 3/4 centimeters. It's no trouble, no trauma, no drama. It doesn't seem to be particularly thirsty at this point. It's still sort of a smallish plant. But when I water it and I check, there's usually, it's got a nice little root system in there. And there's still moisture, so yeah, it's a typical Hoya. It's not what I would call a thirsty one, but it's doing pretty well. So yeah, I'm very happy with this. It's just gorgeous. Again, there'll be some close-ups of the leaves. It hasn't bloomed for me yet, but it's growing really well. So I think this little puppy is going to make for a gorgeous plant once it gets really, really going. And I think if I give it something to climb, it's just going to be happier all the way around, you know? It's just going to be happier. So yeah. This one came from Gabriella Plants on their website, and this is Hoya rigidifolia. Next up, a guy who's been here for 2 years. This is my Hoya obcordata. Now, obcordata is native to the East Himalayas, which is Assam in India and Bhutan, and was first published in 1883 in the Flora of British India by Joseph Dalton Hooker. This one almost made it to my top 10 list. I think the leaves are just beautiful. And it is a steady bloomer. When I keep up with the watering, keep the watering even, it's a good, steady bloomer. The leaves measure, let's find something that looks kind of average, from petiole to tip, say 3/4 of an inch or just about 2 centimeters. And from side to side, kind of the same, 3/4 of an inch or 2 centimeters. It has grown really well. It's slightly delicate, I would say. The dry, it doesn't like dry, even though it's from not necessarily terribly humid parts of the subcontinent, but it doesn't like the dry. So it's we're trying to keep ahead of it with the watering. It's been a severe problem this winter for me. There's a lot of plants, and I can go through, if I get everything in here watered, I can go through 6 gallons of nutrient solution in an hour and a half. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to keep up with it. It's so pretty. It's just such a neat little plant, and it's grown so well for me. So yeah, I have to be a better steward. And I watered this just the other day. It's got a decent little root system. There's still moisture in the pot, so that's okay. So yeah, I just have to be better. I have to find more time. I need space and time and staff. But it's done very well. No issues. The only trouble I ever had with it was when we had flat mites, and now they are not a problem here. So yeah, it's very pretty. The internodal spacing seems to be getting a little longish, but you know, you do what you got to do. He currently lives up here on this corner, so it gets fairly good light. The leaves don't look noticeably pale or anything, so I think that light level is kind of good. Yeah, I just gotta keep watering, you know. I don't need a life, I have plants. So yeah, but this has been no issues. This is very, very much fun. Happy about it, it's doing well. And oh, I said blooms, so I should have pictures of the blooms over here if I didn't already post them or tell you about them. And I'll give a few moments for those blooms pictures to all show through. But yeah, if you're into like little leafed Hoyas, this has kind of a small, kind of wide heart shape, which I think is just really neat. This one came from Leaf Fae Co. on Etsy, and this is my Hoya obcordata. Next up is my Hoya patella, and this is the variety that blooms in pink. Now, Hoya patella is native to New Guinea, and it was first published in 1913 in Botanische Jahrbucher für Systematik, Pflanzengeschichte und Pflanzengeographie, or the Botanical Yearbooks for Systematics, Plant History, and Plant Geography by Friedrich Richard Rudolf Schlechter. And I'm happy with this one. It took me a while to get there. It's got gorgeous little fuzzy leaves, and I'll have to put close-ups over here so you can see, but they are pubescent on the top and the bottom. It's a short little bristly kind of pubescence, but they are very pretty. Let's see if I can. They are very, very pretty. This one came as a nice little cutting, and I'll put a picture of it over here. And I don't think it was happy for a while. It just kind of sat around and it didn't do much of anything. As you can see, we're talking about 2 years, and that's all the roots it's put out, but they are nice looking roots. So this one may be, one of two things. It either takes a while to get established, or it's a slow grower, or a combination of those two. And I think actually that may be the key here, that it's sort of, what's that? Fuzzy leafed Hoyas pick up all kinds of stuff. It's like little lint rollers. So I think it's a combination of the two, that it grows kind of slowly, and it take it a while to put down roots, find its footing. But since then, it's doing okay. It too lives back here on that shelf, and it's doing all right. There are new leaves. There's more fluff. There are new leaves on the tip there, and there's new growth on the end of that vine. So he seems okay. We're doing good. It doesn't seem to be a particularly thirsty plant. Maybe it's just because of the size of it, but there's still plenty of moisture in the bottom of this reservoir. So I don't remember. I probably watered 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So he hasn't drunk all that up yet, but very neat, very cool. The leaves have a slightly raised central rib and side ribs. Right now they are measuring from petiole to tip approximately 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters, and a width of approximately 1.5 inches or 3.25 centimeters. So it's doing well. The blooms are supposed to be beautiful. I have not seen them yet. Not to put any pressure on anyone. I'm just glad you're alive and growing. What's going on there? Okay. All right. Let's see if we can make something better out of that. Oh, You know Hoyas, they get into everything and everywhere. And you kind of, I don't know about you, but I frequently have discussions with my Hoyas saying, why did you think that was a good idea? But yeah, it's doing okay. There's a little bit of sun stressing, I think, on this new leaf, but that's because it was in a weird position. So hopefully that'll take care of itself. But yeah, I'm happy with this. It needs like a serious trellis. So we'll address that soon, but yeah, it's been good. No problems, no issues. As I say, no trauma, no drama. I just would like to have some blooms. That's why we get it. Anyway, this one is Hoya patella. This is the pink variety. And this came from Leaf Co. on Etsy. And now the first plant that's been here for 3 years. And this is Hoya ranauensis. Now, ranauensis was formerly known as Hoya species pouring hot springs. It is from northwestern Sabah in Malaysia on the island of Borneo. And it was found at a height of 600 to 800 meters. And it's only found on the island of Borneo. And it's named after Ranau, which is the district where it was found. It was first published in 2014 in Hoya New by Ted Green and Dale Kloppenberg. And it has been determined to be part of the Finlaysonii Calistophylla Meredithii Clementiorum complex. And this had never been on my mailing list, or my mailing list, on my wish list. It was never on my mailing list either. I don't have a mailing list. And it came as a thank you cutting from my friends at Plants Wake You Up. And it had some nice little leaves, like this one here is an original leaf. And then it grew and it started putting out leaves like that. They're huge. They're like, you look at this and go, oh yeah, I can see how it's related to Meredithii. The leaf shape isn't the same, but the leaves are big. They are dark and glossy, but if you look carefully, you can see some of the leaf vein patterns in them. Yeah, this one measures from petiole to tip. We're looking at 8.5 inches, and 8.5 inches is about 21.5 centimeters. And from side to side, we're looking at 3 inches or 7.75 centimeters. I didn't know anything about this plant. I'd never even heard of it until it showed up as a cutting. It's relatively thirsty. It's fairly well established. And if I keep an eye on it and keep the watering up, we get gorgeous leaves like that. And if the leaves get trapped, you get these funky little twisted leaves. This one had actually grown around the support for the trellis like that. So yeah, it didn't have its best beginnings. I think it's really pretty. Currently it lives over here on this table. It might like a little bit more light, but it's not going to get it immediately. I'm looking around because I don't know where I would put it. This spring, I need to, when it gets warm enough, I'm going to take most of the plants out of here and do a rearranging to, I have to rework some of the lights. I want to rearrange what's on certain shelves. I want to come up with more shelves that are dedicated to bright light and some that are more dedicated to lower light. I have a few of those, but I need to make a project out of this. And it's going to be like a week-long thing. And I may take you along on that adventure when I have a better idea of what that adventure is going to be like. But again, this is gorgeous. It's a great plant. It's putting out new leaves. It doesn't seem particularly demanding. The leaves are, they're on that line between firm and rigid. There is some flexibility to them, but if you tried to bend it, it would not be happy and would probably snap. They are big. They are very, very beautiful. I'm a little concerned. I mean, it's growing. What am I going to do with this? Goodness gracious. It takes up a lot of real estate. It's not the height I'm worried about, it's the width. So yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. But they're pretty. It's been a neat experiment. And sometimes, you know, when a seller sends you something you've never heard of, it can be kind of fun. So that one needs to come out of there. Sorry, I'm doing chores here, and it's like dusting your living room after the company shows up. Well, I hope I didn't do too much damage to that. Anyway, there we go. I think that'll be better for it. It's done well. Happy with it. I'd like to see blooms, but it's been good. This one came from Plants Wake You Up, and this is Hoya ranauensis. And this next one, who's been here for 3 years, he and I have been on a bit of an adventure. And this is my Hoya kenejiana variegated. Now, kenejiana is native to New Guinea and was first published in 1913 in the Botanische Jahrbucher für Systematik, Pflanzengeschichte und Pflanzengeographie. And of course, you know that's by our friend Friedrich Richard Rudolf Schlechter. And I first saw this plant on Miro's channel. And when I did, I saw leaves like that. And that's just beautiful. And I said, I need one of those, as we all do. So I ordered one, and it came, and it had a nice little starter leaf down here. And I think there's another one down in here. I don't want to move the others for fear of doing damage. But I should have a picture of what it looked like. I didn't check my files, so maybe, but over here. And I set it up under decent amount of grow lights, not blasting it, but a good amount of light. And it did okay. And it put out a new leaf that looked like that. And it put out leaves that looked like that. And it put out leaves that looked like that. And we were not happy. That's not why I ordered this little kid. I wanted leaves that looked like that. And that didn't happen for quite a while. It put out some new vines, and we got leaves that looked like that. And we were not happy. And then I moved it. And I moved it to right here. It lives on my desktop right here. And it is what I would at best call very gentle light. Very gentle. I need to adjust those lights. Very gentle light. So it gets some fallout from a grow shelf that's over here, and it gets some fallout from my Sansi grow lights here, but there's no light directed at it. And that's when I started getting the gorgeous leaves that are just beautiful. That's why when I started getting the leaves that were the cause for me to buy this plant. And those are just, and I'll put some close-ups because they're very, very undulate along the edges, and it sometimes makes it difficult to see with the camera and stuff. The leaves remind me of a big version of Hoya denisii Frida, which was also in last week's. Actually, it was my favorite Hoya, current favorite Hoya. It reminds me of the markings on those leaves, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. So if you have struggled with the variegation on this one, ooh, here we go. It may need less light. That may be the answer in this situation. That less light is what it would actually, let's try that. What it would actually prefer, which kind of like shoots down the whole theory of more light for more variegation, or more light for more splash. So yeah, that's why I'm, I think that varies from species to species. And on this species, my experience has been that it would appreciate slightly less light. Here I am doing chores while you all are here. But that makes more sense. I don't always get to spend a lot of time with each individual plant until I show it to you. And then it's like, oh, I need to deal with that, so I might as well do it now. But yeah, this plant is back on our good guy list, and we're going to see if we can keep that kind of growth going. Yeah, because those leaves are just beautiful, and I think a full plant of that would be really, really nice looking. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to. The main vine that put out all these solid dark green leaves has sent out side vines that all have this heavy variegation. Maybe that's the way this plant grows. For example, the vine, that deformed leaf has put out this vine with all these gorgeous leaves, and it's putting out another little vine in there. So maybe it uses the initial, non-variegated leaves to get itself going, and then when those leaves can support the growth of the plant with the leaves with fewer variegation, then it does that. But I'm not a botanist. I'm just mumbling mindlessly, thinking off the top of my head. Anyway, we're back on track with this one. I think it's very, very pretty, very interesting. I love the leaves. They're very cool. I would give you leaf measurements, but well, they're all different sizes at this point. So this one from petiole to tip is about 5 inches or 12 3/4 centimeters. And widthwise is about 1 3/4 or 4.5 centimeters. So that kind of gives you the ballpark of where they are. But yeah, nice to be back on track with this one. I think it's going to be really pretty. This is Hoya kenejiana inner variegated, and this came from Hoya Plants on Etsy. Now the question for the comments. First of all, thanks to everyone who took the time to comment on last week's video. Of course, picking your 3 top Hoyas was difficult. I didn't plan to make it easy, but that was interesting. It was I didn't see any patterns, but there was a good assortment of stuff. A few things I had to look up, and it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. That might go on my wish list. So yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I always appreciate reading the comments from you guys. I do try and answer or respond to all of them. Sometimes it does take a couple of days. And if you have questions in them, I do try and answer them as best I can. But, I'm no expert. I'm just a guy who grows Hoyas. So, yeah. The question for this week then is, what is a Hoya you've changed your mind about? Either one that you thought was going to be the it plant for you, and then it really wasn't, or one that you really didn't think you'd like, you somehow ended up with, and then suddenly it just became, this amazing thing. So yeah, what's a Hoya you've changed your mind about? And I'd like to thank you for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with me this week's end. Please remember the thumbs up like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, and when you're done viewing and leaving all your comments on a mobile device, the hype button down here really helps promote my channel, and all of those things help convince YouTube that other people might enjoy watching it, and it's how you can help the channel grow. A lot of the products that you've seen me use are available through my Amazon storefront. There's a link in the description, or you can use this QR code to visit the storefront. I receive a commission on the sales, but it doesn't increase your price whatsoever, and it's a great way of helping to support the channel. If you're in the market for grow lights, I have a relationship with Sansi, and if you use this QR code and my discount code at checkout, you'll receive a 30% discount from the prices on the site. I receive a commission on the sales from Sansi as well, and it's a great way to help support the channel. I'm really happy with my Sansi grow lights, and they're making a difference in darker parts of the house, shall we say? So yeah, if you'd like to support the channel directly, here's a QR code for my Buy Me a Coffee page, or you can use the thanks button down here to send me a super thanks, and YouTube handles everything for the super thanks. I'm going to put links to a couple more videos over here on the side, and please enjoy the rest of your week's end.